It's a familiar story. The common man in Bengaluru is now facing the bulldozer as authorities move in finally to clear the rampant encroachment on lakes. Even the family of Pathankot martyr Lieutenant Col Niranjan is paying the price for the greed of officials and the builder. The house where his mortal remains were given state honor now faces the prospect of being demolished. But sprawling malls and five-star hotels on encroached lake beds have so far been spared. Why? In a belated move, an FIR has been lodged against 20 officials only after India Today exposed how the Babu builder nexus has been allowed to devour the city. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in to this special report with our eye on Bengaluru. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and this is really a travesty. Finally, it took decades for the BBMP, for the Municipal Corporation of Bengaluru, to wake up to the encroachment that had been allowed on lake beds, which led to the civic mess that the city is now. And now, helpless civilians are facing the prospect of having their lives' earnings go under the bulldozer because they've suddenly been told the houses which they have paid for which they have got papers, they've got all clearances, are nothing more than encroachments. One such family is that of Pathankot martyr Lieutenant Col Niranjan.
Eight months ago, he laid down his life for the country. Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan Kumar martyred in the Pathankot terror attack, battling terrorists from across the border. VVIPs flocked to his house, loaded with praise, mouthing salutes. Now, even as the martyred soldier looks on impassively from a garlanded photograph, the sounds outside of bulldozers in a demolition drive are a stark reminder of what the future for his family can be. For now, this same house where Colonel Niranjan's body was placed to pay last tributes faces demolition. It's the terror of these bulldozers the martyr's family is now fighting, battling to save their home, which the Bengaluru civic body now says was built on an illegal plot. For Colonel Niranjan's family, it's a double whammy. First, the loss 8 months ago of their loved one, and now the prospect of losing the very roof over their heads. But why should this family pay for the greed of politicians, babus and builders, all of whom colluded to rid the garden city of its lakes and greenery? Why should this middle-class family suffer because the Bengaluru civic body turned a blind eye to illegal construction? And why should Colonel Niranjan's family lose its home and hard-earned money when politicians and babus fattened on corruption do not have a single worry on their minds?
And it's a familiar story. Builders, brokers, corrupt government officials, they get away scot-free. The middle class is made to pay. Look at the irony. In only January this year, there were VVIP state government officials who were pouring into this house in Bengaluru to pay their respect to Pathankot martyr Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan. Now, suddenly, this house is illegal. First, this family lost their son to terrorists in January. Now they are going to lose the roof over their heads. Where is the justice in that?
He laid down his life for the country, and we are repaying him by rendering his loved ones homeless. The kin of Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan, who was martyred in the Pathankot attack, are now fighting to preserve the last memory of their loved one. Their home in Vidyaranyapura faces the bulldozer's wrath, having been constructed on a stormwater drain. They can barely sleep now, worried every minute that their house will be razed down in a matter of seconds.
When we got this house, we weren't knowing that the Raj Kalwe is going towards our pillar. And right now, when they just surveyed and showed us, we got to know that part of our portion is actually included in the Raj Kalwe. That pillar is actually a standing stone for this house, and if that gets demolished, then the whole house will go under a shake.
This room is the family's most precious memory of Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan. It was built just for him after he got married.
It's tragedy after tragedy for the family of Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan, the man who died during the Pathankot attack in April this year. And the family is absolutely devastated with the fact that even the room that was built for him during his marriage will also come crashing down, especially with the demolition drive that is being initiated by the municipal bodies.
With no warning and no help from authorities, Niranjan's family is left in the lurch.
See, they are losing the entire house. They are having only this one property, so the entire property is going now. See, they were 20 or 30 years, what they earned, the money they put for this property, and in just a fraction of a second, the demolition going with, where they will go?
In a matter of seconds, they stand to lose all that they've built with love and sweat for the last 15 years. And with no help in sight, this slain martyr's family is left betrayed, alone in their battle against the civic bodies. Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for India Today.
Yes, it's easy for the government and the bureaucracy to say, well, it's an encroachment, it's illegal, it has to be done away with, because there was some corrupt babu sitting somewhere who took a few lakhs in a bribe and gave the requisite clearances to these people, these middle-class people, and you would understand their pain and their feeling, because for them, it's a lifetime of their earnings and their savings, and in a minute, they're going to see all of it go under a bulldozer. How are they expected then to piece their lives together? This is their story.
2 hours notice and people's dreams come crashing down. Their life earnings reduced to rubble. For 15 years, Jagdish in Vidyaranyapura of North Bengaluru has been the breadwinner of his family of 4. Having invested lakhs of rupees into his textile showroom, today he is out on the street.
चोरी भी हो रहा है, कुछ सेफ्टी भी नहीं, हम लोगों को कुछ बोला भी नहीं है. अगर बोलते तो हम पहले ही खाली कर सकते थे. बहुत नुकसान हुआ हम लोगों को.
Residents have all the documents and sanctions in place. Residents like Shruti feel that they are targeted because they are the Aam Aadmi.
We have constructed our building as per the regulations, as per the bylaws. Instead of that, they have stopped demolishing the actual place and they're doing elsewhere.
Ramesh B works as a bank manager and rushed to Bengaluru from Chennai only to see his hard-earned money out in a house crumble down. His house was part of the demolition drive that the BBMP conducted.
2 years back, that a stormwater drain is going to come, and they asked us to give some place. So we gave them the entire place and up to the wall. All of a sudden, I think on Saturday morning, without notice, they have demolished the entire house.
This point is, it's a public drain. From here, whatever is 2.4 meters is there, that belongs to the government, and we will see to it that this one will be done.
Today, like many others, he hopes that the government will compensate him. He has run into losses worth 20 lakh rupees, but then he also has a loan to clear. With Rohini Swami and Pratibha Raman, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's the classic platitude that you would have expected from the Karnataka government when finally under considerable pressure, and after what happened a few weeks ago when a little rain hit Bangalore, the city was inundated. Suddenly they went into overdrive with this demolition, and now they say the law is taking its own course. Why was the law then not adhered to in the past? These are the people who have to do some serious answering to these people of Bangalore.
So who are the people responsible for the mess Bengaluru finds itself in? Here are the culprits. These are the Bengaluru's Hall of Shame. Chief Minister, of course, the man in charge, because he failed to tackle the rampant encroachment. Siddaramaiah is responsible for the mess that Bengaluru finds itself in. Who are the others? Those who should be held responsible. Manjunath Prasad, BBMP commissioner. Why? Because he failed to check the corruption right under his nose for many years. Let's move on to Dr. Rajkumar Khatri. He is the BDA commissioner. And this man sat on papers, revenue papers that were fudged for many years. No action has been taken against him. Now, the people, about 20 of them, those who have been booked. Number one, Guru Prasad, BBMP assistant engineer. Why? Because he sanctioned apartment on the Hosur Road despite violations. This man has thankfully been booked. Shashidhar, BBMP assistant executive engineer. Why? Because he sanctioned apartments on the Hosur Road despite violations being reported for many years. Let's move on to Muhammad Abdullah Aziz. He is the assistant executive engineer and he allowed construction on the Nayanpan Hali on the storm water drains. This is the area where the demolition drive is on as of now. Guru Murthy is also an assistant executive engineer of town planning. He also allowed construction in the same area on the storm drains. They have been booked, but many still need to answer, and also answers need to be sought from the politicians. Government after a government, they sat and did nothing for Bengaluru.
Well, so the law apparently is now taking its own course in Bengaluru, and everyone should be equal before the law, shouldn't they? Well, it turns out that some people are more equal than the others. So while if you are from the middle class, your house will be raised to the ground. If you are in any way encroaching in the lake zone or on a stormwater drain, if you happen to be, though, a successful, a prosperous builder, you're running a 5-star hotel or a mall, you will still manage to get lucky.
The big demolition drive to unclog a city choking on encroachment. But while bulldozers have targeted the common man and even a martyr's family, they've not targeted the big fish. Several reputed builders, a 5-star hotel and a mall sit on the lake bed, seriously restricting drainage of rainwater. While a staggering 645 lakes have been encroached upon by builders, there has been little action against these big names.
It is only the government officials who have colluded and fabricated the documents. Yes. They will not be spared out.
While authorities vehemently deny any pressure from the builder lobby, the ground situation narrates a different story. Bengaluru's 5-star hotel Sheraton and the famous Orion Mall are sitting on the lake bed.
It is whoever is buying a property, you have to actually look into the papers, see, do a actual survey of the property also, and then go in for it. Of course, the builders have made money, good money, and they've gone in for it, and they're all happy. It's the commoners who is suffering now.
India Today had exposed the builder Babu nexus, which permitted the illegal constructions in the first place. Is the same nexus saving the big fish now? With Rohini Swami and Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And the reason why the government has been spurred into action as well as the BBMP is because the huge mess that the city of Bengaluru finds itself in. I think the most iconic image that first caught the attention of the entire country was the horrible state that Bengaluru's lakes had been reduced to. They were really emblematic of the urban mess that this city of gardens had been reduced to. So how did this happen? How was this allowed to happen down the years? We report.
Lakes filled with poison froth, dying fish, encroached lake beds. These visuals pretty much sum up the pathetic condition of Bengaluru's lakes. The very pride of the garden city has turned it into the biggest curse, spewing filth and deadly intoxicants across neighborhoods. But the officials chose not to act till the deluge hit India's IT capital.
About 10-15 days back, when there was a heavy rains and some of the areas got flooded, after that this action has been started. Before that, yes, it's true that no action was taken.
So who is to blame for the death of Bengaluru's lake? A large part of land grabbing are by land sharks. But government agencies, including civic agency BDA, too have played encroachers. BDA has encroached upon 484 acres covering 41 lakes. Rampant construction of high-rises, offices, roads, schools, temples, slums and farms has been allowed on lake beds.
There's everything going wrong with the city. A city which used to function beautifully doesn't function anymore, is dysfunctional. So we have to declare a breakdown in Bangalore. And if we can, declare that breakdown, we will have solutions.
Till Bengaluru manages to reclaim its famed lakes, the city will continue to languish in the civic mess. Bureau Report, India Today.
Sit on your hands till you're actually and literally waist deep in filth and then swing into this ham-handed knee-jerk action. This is the classic government response that we've got so far. Tomorrow also a special broadcast from the city of Bengaluru right here on India Today. We'll be reporting live. For now, thanks very much for tuning in. After a quick break, Karan Thapar with To The Point.